And guys, I don't know of a better way to say this than this. If you're not out speaking about what you do for a living, it is literally costing you a fortune. I believe that public speaking is the best undiscovered skill in leadership today. You know as well as I do that history books are filled with examples of leaders using the power of the platform to propel themselves into a better future. Let's face it, all leaders are speakers. You say, what about business leaders? Well, look at Steve Jobs. This guy changes the face of the computer industry in 90 minutes every year at his annual keynote at the Macworld Expo. You say, what about spiritual leaders? Well, look at Joel Osteen. This guy leads the biggest church on earth. Over 40,000 members. I mean, he's approaching Billy Graham in the number of people he's affected with his message of Christian principles. You say, well, what about political leaders? Now, this one's obvious, I know. But just look at how candidates use the platform to sway the opinions of the masses, one way or the other. This year, I guess Barack Obama is probably the best example of that. This guy's relatively unknown, yet he's won millions of followers with his incredible performance on the platform. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I've never really been good at speaking in public. Or maybe, I've had a fear of speaking my whole life. We've all heard the facts. Isn't it something like 95% of the entire population isn't just scared, they're terrified of speaking in public. Public speaking ranks #1 as people's greatest fear. You know what number 2 is? Guess. Yeah, death. Death is number 2? I mean, I guess Jerry Seinfeld said it best. He said to the average person, if you have to be at a funeral, you'd rather be in the casket than doing the eulogy. And hey, I can relate. I was one of those people. Early on in my career with Guitar Center, my mentor was a man by the name of Ron Bicknell. Now, Ron was an incredible speaker. I would look forward all week to his Saturday morning sales talks. Ron calls me in the office one day, sits me down and says, Jason, I believe in you, and I believe you can be a leader in our company. And I said, oh, Ron, I could never be a leader, not like you. And he said, Jason, why the heck not? Now, I was 100% sincere when I said this. I looked at him and said, Ron, because I could never speak to an audience the way you do. Now, I was 19 years old when we had that talk. By the time I was 22, I had my own store. Now, I'd like you to consider something. Just consider that the key to the next level for you, whatever that looks like, lies in developing your public speaking skills. I worked for Guitar Center for over 10 years, and I'll be honest, I never would have made it as far as I did without speaking. Guys, this is a huge opportunity for you. You say, why? Well, because most people are running from speaking, not towards it. I guess the best example is this. Just imagine if only 5% of the population used the internet to increase their business. 5%. What do you think? Would we have a few more billionaires around? Yeah. I challenge you not to ignore this piece of your puzzle. I mean, for some of you, this is the piece you've been waiting for. Public speaking is the best undiscovered skill in leadership.